I'm sorry.
This is vertical.
Yeah. Okay,
this is horizontal.
Anyways, they have it sit up vertically. Okay. Anyways, the point is, I didn't even know it could be sit up in the other direction. Cut this out. Cut this out.
Welcome back to Bo-Knows Gamers. This is episode 4. I'm here tonight with Yugi601 and Falcon Tactics. How are you guys doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good, bro.
Excited about tonight's topics. I really am. I was writing these out, typing these out to send to you guys, and I just started getting like giddy. Like I was just like, this is going to be a really good flow of stuff we got tonight going on. So we're just going to jump right in with this first topic. We got the PS5. PlayStation has announced the long-awaited PS5 Slim. All right. They're not even calling it the Slim though. It's just the PS5. This is just the new PS5. So it is 30% smaller. All right. Have you guys seen it? Have you seen it?
Yeah. I'm not even gonna lie. You sent that to me, and I had to look it up because I did not get any information about this. I was like, wait, what? New PS5 system? I was like, all right, let me go check this out.
You were too busy racking up the streams over there on Falcon Tactics.
Hey, listen. I'm sitting over here at 3,200 watch time hours. Okay.
All right. Okay. That's awesome.
Yep.
Everybody go over there. Push him over. Push him over the 4,000 hour.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
Thanks. But yeah. I saw it and I was like, okay. I didn't even know what the difference was until I looked at the original one and then looked back at it, and I was like, oh, okay. I can see how this looks different. Like that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
It's pretty similar. There's a few small differences, but it is 30% smaller than the original one. But here's the puzzling thing. Every Slim model in the history of PlayStation has come with a price drop. The PlayStation 5 is 3 years old now. It's seen no price drops. In fact, it's seen price increases in most regions in the world. Mm-hmm. This new PS5, the one thing that they did change is that it now comes with 1 terabyte of internal storage, both models, versus 826 or whatever the weird number was that they added to the first one. But the all-digital version is $50 more than it was. So we went from $400 to $450. Okay, so there's a price jump there. The disc version is still at $500, but one of the things they changed is that the disc drive is now detachable. So if you buy it to begin with, it's $500, okay? But if you buy the all digital and decide to add a disc reader later, which you can do, the disc reader is $80, which brings the total cost to $530. So there's another price jump.
Yeah.
None of the models now come with the vertical stand. They come with a little wimpy plastic peg leg that goes underneath it for horizontal, if you want to lay it horizontally under your TV or whatever. But everyone who has looked at the PlayStation, including Sony themselves, knows that the PlayStation looks better vertically. The vertical stand now costs an additional $30, which brings the total cost, if you buy them all separately, to $560. So price increases all around. What do we think about this? Because there's no performance bump in any of it, all right? Let's just be clear. No performance bumps. There's smaller packaging, takes less materials to produce them. So they're saving money in producing them.
Yeah.
But the price is going up.
So you're joking, right? Like,
no, I'm not joking.
I know. It's just like, I was like, dude, what?
Yeah.
Okay, all I have to say is like, okay, I've already been on Team Xbox for ages, okay, and I have nothing against PlayStation. It's just that I grew up with Xbox. Okay, mm-hmm. PlayStation is pretty cool in my eye, but I don't understand this. This doesn't make sense. This to me, why? Oh. My only words is just like, it sounds like nonsense. Like, it doesn't make sense to me to make a new system. Okay, cool. You increase the data. You increase the capability to be able to like download a whole bunch of games. That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
What else did you do? Like, that's it. I'm like, I could go get a terabyte drive for my system if I really wanted to have more data for it. But
yeah.
I'm like, what is something that you're gonna give me that I can't get by buying it?
Yeah. Dude, I just dropped a video about how to expand your PS5 storage, and I put a 2 terabyte drive that came with a heatsink in it for $100. And so, but you're telling me you have to raise the price $50 to add like 150 extra gigs of storage? Like that doesn't even, it doesn't make sense. So
No.
yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Yugi?
Yeah, I think that's goofy.
I know you were thinking about buying one, weren't you?
Yeah, I'm gonna get one Thursday.
Really?
You know, because I'm trying to play SpiderMan.
Oh damn!
And
man,
yeah. So here we go. And then
it comes out on Friday, right?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it comes out on Friday. Yeah.
Oh my god!
I'm like,
we're gonna talk about Spider-Man a little bit later.
I'm sorry.
Oh, absolutely.
My
yeah.
bad.
So,
my bad.
To hear that, I'm just thinking like, okay, well, what's the point? If at least like, if there was a slight performance, because I think correct me if I'm wrong here, did the PS4 or PS3 Slim come with like a slight performance increase once upon a time, or am I mistaken?
I don't know if it did. I don't think the PS3 did. I think they just shrunk the size.
Right. I mean, yeah, no, with all that other added stuff, I'd rather just get what I'm going to get this Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I got to resell it and get an upgraded version like a Pro, I'll just do that. It doesn't make a lot of sense for me to get that Slim.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it just seems like a loss in terms of like product and hardware. It's just goofy.
Well, I keep going back to the, that size reduction. That's going to help them fit more on a truck. It's going to be less packaging. It's going to be just cheaper for them in every way, from the factory floor to the store shelf. And yet they're raising the price and taking away the vertical stand. Like, look, when you think about the PS5, almost every promo image they release of that thing is vertical.
Yeah.
They've taken some horizontal shots to show you what it looks like, but they don't ever put those out there like to promote the product. It's always the vertical one. They know it looks better vertical. It looks kind of goofy anyway, but it looks kind of goofy. It looks more goofy horizontal, and that's how I have mine. That's how I have mine because it won't fit in my entertainment center vertically, so I have it in there horizontally, and it looks pretty goofy. But
dude, I'm not even gonna lie. I didn't know that the PS5 could even be flipped vertically until I heard that they were gonna remove it. Like I was like, wait, what?
It's because you've only ever seen it vertical. Right.
Well, yeah.
Right.
I mean, I have friends that have one, so like I've used theirs before, and they haven't stood up vertical, like horizontal. Like me not knowing my directions right now. I'm saying
this is vertical.
Yeah.
This is horizontal.
Anyways, they have it stood up vertically. Okay. Anyways, the point is, I didn't even know it could be stood up in the other direction. Cut this out. Oh my gosh. Dude, I'm like, but the point is, I didn't know it could be stood up in any other direction other than what they've showed it in the original trailer. Like,
right.
That was all I knew. And despite playing the system before, I still didn't know that. I just thought that was how it was made.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know it could be altered.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can. So Yugi, you've got one locked down because this new one's not out yet. So you're gonna pay the original price, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. If I were in the market for one right now, that's what I would do because I think the plan is to just replace it. Like they're not going to continue to make the original one. It's just going to be this one from now on.
Yeah.
So if
I could easily probably because all the scalpers are selling them at a discount, and I'm halfway tempted to get it from them, but just out of spite, I'm not.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I agree with that too.
Yeah. You guys are annoying, so I'm just gonna buy it retail. Probably from some mom and pop shop,
That whole situation was terrible.
Right.
So here's my follow-up question to all that is that there were rumors that there was a slim version rumors about it, predictions about it. Like, they've always come out with a slim version. That's not really a prediction. That's just ever since, even the PS1 got a revision, right? At some point that was a little smaller.
Yes.
So they've always had revisions like this. So it's not really, if you're going to put money on it, this is a pretty sure bet, right? They're going to do that at some point. But the real question for me is because you're looking at $560. Let's just be honest. You're looking at $560 for this new model. That's a price increase. Any way you go. If you go all digital and you don't get a disk drive, but you want that vertical stand, that's an $80 price increase over the previous version. So there you have it. So if they come out with a Pro version, which is also rumored, and those rumors are going to persist throughout the PS5's life cycle. If they come out with a Pro version, what do you do about the price? And at what point can you price something and still expect to have decent sales with your fan base? I'm still in the camp that there is no Pro version for this generation. I could be wrong, and that's fine, but how high can you go with the price? Because if you're selling the base version for $560, what does that Pro version got to come in at? Like, how high is too high, Falcon, for somebody in Gen Z?
Dude, okay, listen, like all the kids right now, like all the kids that are my age, okay, we already think this is too expensive, okay?
Yeah,
we saw
exactly.
We saw the Series X and Series S come out, and we saw the PS5 come out. We're like, oh, whoa.
Right.
$400 to $500. Whoa, where are we gonna get that? Because like we're like, hey mom, you got $500 to spare?
Yeah,
like
right.
like dude, it's not happening normally already, and then they're trying to increase the prices, and I'm like, I just want to get I want to get the new gen system, and I'm still sitting here with my old console. Okay, I've had this console for like 7 years now. Okay, I haven't been able to get an upgrade because everything is so expensive. I know. But I'm scared. I'm scared for what they're going to release next.
What do you think, Falcon? I'm not Falcon. What do you think, Yugi?
If I had to, and this is already, I mean, PS3 launched at 600, right?
It did. And there people threw a fit because it was $600.
Yeah. At least there's a justification for the 600 if they do release it at 600. That's still on the lines of like just save up for a PC at that point. But,
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's gotta really kick some butt if it's gonna be selling for $600. I mean, I've got to see something like really stand out. Like it can't pass under a terabyte, and then there's got to be at least some terms of like something in terms of like graphics upgrade. There's like, it's almost inexcusable. They got to do something to really show up, because you're really asking from a lot from a consumer for 600 bones.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest. I think if they put out a PS5 Pro, I think it comes in at $700. And at that point, you're right. It is like you're getting into PC territory. And I'm telling you right now, I'm looking at reviewing a mini PC that can do pretty much what the PS5 does right now. It's $650, but it's also a PC that you can use for editing and all kinds of stuff, you know? And so $700, man, that's a lot of money for a console. I just don't think people are going to go for it. I think it's going to be a PR nightmare for them if they try to release a Pro version of their console at that kind of price.
I feel like that they're just forgetting their audience. Like I don't think they realize that half their audience, not even half, like more than half their audience, I want to say like almost 75 to 80% is kids who want to play video games. They don't have money. Okay.
Right.
Like, and even us, like the people who are like 18 years old or a little bit older, okay, we're barely just getting jobs and we're trying to live by ourselves. We don't have money to get a console like that.
Right.
And the higher they raise it up, the less people are going to buy that, because there's no time to work towards that.
Yeah. And you couple that with the fact that, man, they're not putting out any games. Like, you're increasing the price of your console, but what other than Spider-Man 2, what do you have that we have to look forward to?
Yeah, we talked about that last time. They didn't have anything.
So I'm just shocked at this. I feel like, man, they really are misreading. They're misreading the current state of the world. By doing this way. It would have been better to just keep doing what they were doing almost and not change any prices than to do it like this. All right. Next topic is this. Early last week, we're doing this on, what is today? Tuesday the 17th? Yeah, Tuesday, this October 17th. So last week, this rumor came out that starting in January 2024, that Best Buy and Walmart were both going to stop selling physical media of any kind, including video games. Best Buy has come out since then and said, yeah, actually, we are going to stop selling TV and movies, but we're going to keep selling video games. But I've been into Best Buy recently, and man, the shelves are not stocked well. It's pretty bare bones in there. I guess my question for you guys is, how big a deal is this to not have that option to go buy a game physically anymore? How do you feel about that? Yugi, how do you feel about that?
So I haven't been collecting the way I used to.
Yeah.
But if I had like dedicated space, because I do collect, I would say I think it's a shame, but I can't say that I'm surprised. So it's one of those things, like it's an inevitability that eventually we're just gonna have to get over, right? Like we're just gonna have to accept it. Obviously a lot of especially for like really deep into the video game rabbit hole, that could be a sensitive subject for some of us, right? To have your memories in a physical form, I think that's a very good thing. The fact that it's taken away, I mean, I don't know. It sucks, but I guess it just is what it is, and we just have to accept it at this point. But I guess collectors rejoice because the value of gaming, of whatever games you do have that are physical, are only going to go up as time goes on. So I guess that's a good thing. But I think it is a shame. It sucks, but I can't say I'm surprised. Like, I feel like the way these companies are run is just so cynical now, especially after coming back from just playing like a very old game. Fear I was playing recently. I'm looking to talk about it and make a review about it because that's almost a 20-year-old game, and I see things there that just are not present in today's market of gaming. So I mean, I'm not trying to be like doom and gloom about it, but there's very few games I can think of that I'd even want to have a physical copy of. Unfortunately, like there's very few like rock solid gems that I would actually like go out of my way to buy. But
well, they've been like for years now, they've cut back. Like you used to get awesome cover art, and then you get the instruction booklet inside that would have artwork in it, and you could flip through that. I mean, I remember being a kid and like almost being as fascinated with the book that it came with as I was the game itself. And just enjoying the artwork and stuff in there. And, they've slowly cut back on all that stuff. And it's pretty much just a case, right? A shell of a case with the game in it. And sometimes it doesn't even have that. Sometimes it just has the code to download it. Falcon, as, again, someone who's part of Gen Z, how important is it to people your age?
I mean,
have you bought a physical game in a long time?
Dude, the sad part is, that's just a good question, because like my answer is just no. I haven't bought. I think the last physical game that I bought, air quote, I didn't even buy it. Like technically, my dad bought it for me. I wasn't even originally going to get the game. But the last game I bought, I think physically, was Breath of the Wild, and not even Tears of the Kingdom. Like it was Breath of the Wild. I think it was for Wii U. It wasn't even for Nintendo Switch. It's for Wii U.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, all the games now, like what Yugi said, I haven't felt like I needed to get a physical game. There wasn't anything that I really wanted to get. Like, have a physical copy of to show off. It was just, I didn't feel like I needed it. All the games that I've gotten recently are all digital. Heck, I'm gonna get Mario Wonder digitally on my console. I thought about it and I was like, it's not worth it to me. So
because it used to be like once upon a time, man, like when a game would drop, that was like almost an event. Like I remember like there was this ridiculous
they had events. There were events. They literally had events for it.
Like that's what I'm saying. No, don't get me wrong. Like it felt like it, even though it wasn't like I guess you could say it. Like did you see the footage? I saw it on Twitter. I should have sent it to you. It was like when Halo, I think 3 dropped at midnight. And like
I was there.
Like, you were there, so you know what I'm talking about.
I was at GameStop in line with all the people, with all the other people, and they were grilling hot dogs outside of GameStop and doing all kinds of stuff, man.
Right.
I have a question. Go
ahead.
Okay, explain, because like I wasn't there, so like
no, so it was like a whole thing. Like okay, so like when Halo 3 dropped, people were like dressed up as Master Chief. There was like people in like colored out Hummers and like looking like military. Like it was like a big thing. And if you got like the collector's edition, again, stop me if I'm wrong, like sometimes you get like Master Chief's helmet.
Yeah,
I know Borderlands had a huge launch when it came out, and you got like a big loot crate that was like a physical thing that you could open, and there was like stuff in it. When Metal Gear Rising Revengeance came out, I got the like super epic version, and it was like $250, and it was like this lava lamp with a sword in it that was electrified.
That's awesome.
And when you would touch it, the electric would touch your fingers, and it was like,
that's so cool.
It was so hype, and I was like the coolest kid in the military, because when you would go to my room, it would be lightning blue everywhere.
Bro,
Like, this sounds
oh my
crazy,
God.
right?
Dude,
This was from a video game
Oh
special
my
edition.
goodness.
They don't do that no more,
Yeah,
man.
dude, the last special edition that I saw that came out recently was for Tears of the Kingdom. Okay, and you know
Right.
what? You got a metallic piece of art that you can hang up on a wall, and that was pretty cool. Okay, you got a book full of pictures, and you got stickers. Oh wait, I'm sorry. You also got pins. That was pretty cool, I guess. But
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, that was what you got. And
Yeah.
you got a metallic game case. That was probably one of the coolest things, I think.
Yeah,
The metallic
yeah.
game case was really cool. But other
That's
than
a good that's a good point. Like a lot of people, I know people go out of their way to specifically get like the metal cases, and that's like a big deal for some people. Like they have a whole collection of just metal cases, and
Yeah.
you know the way they're even made is like different. So if they can't buy that anymore, I'm sure that would suck. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
pretty sick.
It was because you'd go seriously. I was at the Halo 3 one, and you get like it's
Oh,
just
man.
at GameStop. It's at GameStop. Like this
Right.
is not a fancy establishment,
Oh
right?
my
It's
God.
GameStop, but they're out there. They're having a cookout out in front of the store, and everybody's lined up in front of the store, and they're wearing their costumes. Not me. I wasn't wearing one, but a lot of people were. And you know, you're just there, and you start talking to the people in line around you, and like,
Yeah.
reminiscing, telling your stories about the game. Like it was an event. It was.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those days are obviously gone, and for better or worse, they're gone. And it's just, I don't know. It's the end of an era, I guess, when you start hearing about Best Buy, which is the biggest electronics store franchise in our country, not going to sell physical media anymore. It kind of makes me sad, but I mean, I'm also the oldest person here, so.
Dude, it makes me think about it because, dude, our generation, like now, is they're all moving towards digital, bro. Like,
Yeah.
they're not
So have I.
like-
I've been doing that too.
in the way that it's going. I wouldn't be surprised if games were only sold digitally in like the span of like a decade.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if all the things that we get can only be bought online. That doesn't seem surprising to me.
Well, this is going on longer than I thought it would, but
My bad.
here's my thought on that is that this is one reason why I don't like it is that if PlayStation games are suddenly not sold in stores, that works out for PlayStation because they're not having to produce any kind of physical content. That's money that they're saving. But if the only place you can buy a PlayStation game is on the PlayStation Store, that is a problem because then they have no incentive to ever put anything on sale or lower any prices. They can do whatever they want with the price because there's no competition. And it's the same with Xbox and it's the same with Switch. And at any time, they can just say, you know what, we're taking this game off the store. It's gone. You don't have it anymore. Well, I just spent $70 on that. What do you mean I don't have it anymore? But we're already starting to see the beginnings of that. And that's what makes me a little nervous about, because when you got it in your hand, man, it's in my hand. You can't take this away from me now. I bought this, but it's going to be a different kind of world that we're moving into in gaming.
Dude, I actually have an experience like that. Dude, the first game that I did on my channel was Omari. Like, those were the first couple of videos that I posted.
Mm-hmm.
They took that off the Xbox Game Store. Yeah. And as far as I know, I don't think I can get that game as a physical copy.
Yeah.
Like, the only other place I could do it is, like, I could buy it on the Steam store. But I don't play games on my PC because my PC can't handle streaming and recording and playing the game at the same time. So it's just, I can't even make videos on that game anymore because they took it off the Xbox store.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I did not expect that to go on for that long.
We might have to.
But that's fine. That's good. That was a good discussion, I think. So one of the things we did in our last episode was we were talking about how video games kind of intersect with, or how they relate to the Bible. And last time we got to the end, and Yugi had a game he wanted to talk about, Shadow of the Colossus, and I talked about a different game, and Falcon, and we got to the end of it, and you're like, oh, I just thought of a game. And I said, hey, we'll save it for next time. And so you put it in your notes and said no one could read it until then. You locked it down. And now here we are, and I am eagerly awaiting what you have to say and what game you picked out.
The game that I picked was actually Undertale. Okay.
Undertale, indie game, an indie darling.
Indie game.
Okay.
I had recently played it. Undertale is a game made by Toby Fox. It's an RPG game, essentially, where you actually get two choices. You could choose to fight enemies, or you could choose to spare them. And you go throughout the whole game like that. And depending what you choose, and depending on your choices, it affects the ending of the game. You could either be the hero or you could be the villain. That's already a simple segue into what it is. You gotta be a hero or you could be a villain in real life. Anyways, throughout the game, you'll see your decisions and how the choices actually affect everything. Even at the beginning of the game. At the beginning of the game, it makes you fall down into this mountain. You fall down. Everybody already knows what Undertale is at this point. If you don't, I'm very sad, but I guess I should still give a spoiler warning. Okay, spoiler warning. Okay. You fall down this mountain called Mount Abat at the beginning of the game. You have no idea where you are, and you get the story explained to you that you're in this world full of monsters. Humans didn't like monsters. They banished them into the underground. That's essentially it. A monster greets you down there. I'm going way too deep into this. Okay, I'm going to skip ahead. Okay, you meet this lady named Toriel. She tells you that the best way to go throughout the underground, is to spare the monsters. The best way to go throughout the underground is to spare the monsters, not to kill them. You're given your first test by fighting a dummy. You could fight it, or you could spare it. You go even further. She basically gives you the whole tutorial, hence the name, Toriel. Okay, you go further down inside of the dungeon. You finally get there. She's like, I don't want to let you go. All the monsters out here are not as nice as I am, okay? Eventually, she fights you. You either kill her or you spare her, and then she lets you go forward. Only thing I could think of at the beginning of the game was like, this was like the testing period for humankind. Like when God put them inside of the Garden of Eden. He was like, he gave them one rule. He was like, you can eat from all these trees, but don't eat from that one. And like, what do? They eat from it, right? Okay, like they break the one rule inside of this game. There's basically one rule. Okay, you can go throughout the monster. You could go throughout the monster world. Just be nice. Like that's all you have to do. Eventually, you get to the end of the game. If you're nice, all the monsters say bye to you. You actually get to free the monsters and bring them to the human world. And humans and monsters coexist happily. You guys are all cool. It's a great end. You're a great big family. Woohoo, whippy-doo. Okay, that's great. If you kill everyone, you get to the end of the game and you meet this character named Chara. Chara was the first human to ever come down into the underground. And the humans that came down, for some reason, they had the power to load and save files. Like they could reload files. That was the game gimmick. And it was like an actual superpower. They played into it. They broke your save file at one point in the game so you can only reload from a certain point. They did so many things with that. Okay. You get to that point inside the game, and if you kill everybody inside the game, you meet Chara. Chara's like, so you finally made it here. How does it feel? We're all alone. There's nobody else here. You're inside of this black room, just standing next to this demon spawn, whatever the heck it is, bro. It's not human, despite saying it is. It asks you if it, like, now that you've taken over the monster world, if you want to go take over the human world. It doesn't even stop there. Like, you would think, okay, well, let's clear out monsters. Monsters are bad. You could rationalize that. But then they go on to talking about eradicating humans now that you've finished off with the monsters. If you say no, Chara kills you. That's the end of the game. The game ends with a blank screen. You cannot restart the game on Nintendo Switch. You have to like go and close out the whole game and then go back onto the game. If you say yes, the game still ends. Like it just ends right there. Black screen. There's two things that I noticed about these two different endings. One ending leaves you feeling satisfied. It makes you feel great, makes you feel big, powerful. Okay, you think you're going throughout the story. You're meeting all these amazing characters with great personalities. You realize that these guys are your friends, and then you go throughout this other ending expecting to feel something great because you're fighting all these bosses. You're like, oh dang, this is really difficult. Okay, I finally got through it. Okay, and then as you get to the end, you're like, you feel nothing. Like there's nothing. The end of the game does not leave you feeling satisfied. You made no friends. You made no connections. And even the person that you meet at the end of the game who asks you to team up, no matter what you reply to him, he gets rid of you.
Yeah.
Like he's not on your team.
Well, that is pretty good.
That's my summary. In the same way, sorry, I probably should have rounded it back up. Okay. In the same way, we have two roads to life. Okay. We can either walk a road for God, or we can walk the way of the world, which in turn leads to sin and leads to the devil. Okay. There's only two teams.
Yeah.
In the same way, you can work for good. You could save the monsters. You can be on God's team, or you can go against him and get rid of everyone and then be left feeling unsatisfied, unloved. Nobody cares about you. Okay.
Yeah.
And in the end, you get nothing.
What did Jesus say? He said, hey, you can't serve two masters because you're going to love one and hate the other. And like, that's pretty much all there is to it. You can't serve two masters. So you got to choose. You got to one way or the other way, you know? He also talks about how there's a wide gate and a narrow gate, a broad path and a narrow path. And you got to choose which one you want to walk. And I was reading a book in college. I had to take a couple of religion classes. And we in one of them had to read this book that like retold stories in the Bible and kind of like taught through them. But there was one thing I remember from that book. There's a couple things I remember from it, but one thing specifically that applies to this, I think, was a quote that was just 3 words, and it will stick to me for the rest of my life, where the author of this book said, "Sin always overreaches." Sin always overreaches. And his point was that sin is never satisfied. It will always say, oh, you can just do a little bit. But as soon as you do the little bit, it's like, oh, well, we could do a little bit more. Yeah. Until all of a sudden, all the little bits have added up to a lot of bits. Until all of a sudden you've destroyed relationships and you've destroyed your life. And that's the end of your story, is destruction. Sin always overreaches. You think you can master it and control it, but you can't. You can't.
It's true. Like, I heard this from people a lot wiser than me, basically explained that, like, you don't get to the point to where you're doing basically atrocities on humanity overnight. It's like a gradual dance with the devil, right? Yeah. You're justifying a little lie here, little lie there. And before you know it, you're lying so much you don't even notice it. You're just right. You're just, and then that leads to more and more. And before you know it, your whole life's a lie, and you're doing things that you didn't even think you were capable of doing because of some crazy justified reason that you made up in your head. So you're absolutely right about that. Sin is just, it's a slow dance. And then just like what Falcon was saying earlier, eventually you just end up alone. You pushed everyone away. No one can trust you, and it's like, and it's so bad because even something as simple as a lie, right? Sometimes you'll get away with it and it gives you like almost like a kick. Like, oh, I'm a master of my own destiny now. You almost get arrogant. Like, if I could do that, I mean, what else can I get away with,
The more you sin, the harder your heart gets, and the more it will reject like sound reasoning. Right. Like, dude, it's crazy. I have a couple of friends, dude. We used to be great friends, and like they were a Christian and I'm a Christian, right? We had good godly conversations about the Bible, and then like at one point they just said something that was just like, that's not right. Look what it says right here inside of the scripture. They basically just told me to get back away from them in worse words than that. But they just essentially, they rejected any sound knowledge. They didn't want to hear the truth.
Well, it's like you were saying with that game that if you decide to kill all the monsters, like that seems like a good idea maybe at the time because they're monsters. So you justify it as like, well, I'm keeping the world safe by killing the monsters. But then you get to the end and you've killed so much that now the antagonist says, hey, well, why don't we now let's take out humanity and let's kill them too. So you're tempted, like it's not enough. It's not enough that you kept the world safe from the monsters. It's overreaching now into humanity. And so and that's a really good illustration of exactly how sin operates. Yep. And I think it's interesting too in the Bible that sin, like when we think of sin, we usually think of sin as a verb, like it's an action, something that you do, that you perform. But in the Bible, sometimes sin is a noun. Sin is a person, place, or thing, and it almost takes on a personality. Like in Genesis 4 with Cain and Abel, where Cain is mad at Abel, and God comes to Cain and says, hey, sin is crouching at your door. It's a noun. Sin is like this entity, this power that's crouching at his door, ready to pounce, ready to do its thing. And it's not something. It's like you're playing with fire when you play around with sin, And it never brings life or satisfaction. It always brings destruction. It might feel good in the moment, but it's always going to, like you said in the game, like you end up alone. You always end up alone because sin doesn't care about you, but Jesus does. And that's the hope of the gospel, that Jesus does care about you and he wants what's best for you. And he says, hey, I came to give you life and give it to the full. And that to me is worth following. It's worth investigating and devoting my life to, rather than devoting it to something that's just gonna end up killing me in the end.
Yep.
Yeah.
Beautifully said.
Well, thanks for helping me wrap that up. Because like I explained it and I was like, dude, I sure hope these guys have stuff to add on to this, because I don't know how to explain what I was trying to think in my brain.
You did good. You did good.
Hey, that was a really good game that you picked out. That was really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll do that again. We'll do that next time too. We'll pick out at least one game and talk about it. All right. So this is a big week because it's Tuesday right now. And on Friday, we have two of the biggest games of the year coming out, Super Mario Wonder and Spider-Man 2. And they both look really, really good. Spider-Man 2, its Metacritic score came out yesterday. It's sitting right now at a 91 as of tonight. That's really high. It's really hard to get a score over 90 on Metacritic because you'll always have one, seems like you always have one turd of a reviewer who's like, this is a 2 out of 10, and it just brings the whole score down, you know? It just brings the whole score down. But it's sitting at a 91, which I think is really good. It's the highest of all of the 3 Spider-Man games from Insomniac. That's the highest scoring one so far. My question is, can Mario Wonder beat a 91? Yugi, I know you've been excited about Spider-Man 2. You're so excited. You're going out to buy a PS5 this week. Can Mario beat Spider-Man 2?
I think it can. If not, it will definitely match it. I think this is going to be an incredible week for gaming. Yeah. I don't see it going. It's definitely not going to get lower. I think it'll match it or do just it, or if not, do better.
All right.
It's just going to be one of those things like you said, it's up to the critics what their flavor of gaming is. This is my opinion, right? I really think there are just certain companies that you can just trust. I think it's fair to say that Nintendo and Insomniac are just one of those, you know?
Yeah. I think
it's very, very rare. I mean, I can't think of the last Nintendo flop, and I can't think of the last flop by Insomniac. It just doesn't happen.
They follow through.
Exactly, right? I can easily predict Modern Warfare 3 might not be the best COD. I can easily predict that, right? I can easily predict that, certain games for certain companies just deliver, right? Atlas, for example, they seem to do very well at delivery. It may not be your cup of tea. Same thing used to be with Platinum Games. Once upon a time, Konami. Good grief, what happened to them?
Dang.
Yeah. Once upon a time.
It's another topic.
Another topic. Yeah.
Not even gonna talk about that one.
No, yeah. Now they're just a complete. Oh gosh. But there was once upon a time where you could say that about a lot of companies, but I feel like Insomniac and Nintendo are just those two that they just don't miss. So it'll definitely be, if not matched, my prediction is it's going to be higher.
Okay.
Due to the fact of what they're doing. They're just taking, that formula and just making it better. It's awesome.
So you're saying 91 minimum, if not higher. That's your prediction on that, on Mario Wonder?
Yeah, I'm being generous though, because some people are weird. They're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, this is just more Mario," and I'm gonna be like, "Are you crazy? Like, you don't see how they're taking? Like, you can't appreciate that."
We talked about the death of. We talked about the death of physical media, but people are driving to Target and Best Buy and stuff to play the 10-minute demo of Super Mario Wonder. Like, they're going out of their way because they're so excited about this game, and the early impressions from people who have gone to the store to play the demo are that it's very, very good, and they're really excited to play the rest of it. So it's going to be interesting to see how those scores come in. Falcon, what do you think about this? Can Mario beat Spider-Man 2? And what if you had to put a number on it, what would the number be?
Okay. So this is my view on it. Okay. They're such different games. Okay?
Yeah.
Overall, I think, listen, from Spider-Man, you get many different aspects. Okay. You get a cool story. You probably get some cool fighting mechanics, and you get mechanics that you've probably never seen inside of other games because of how the game plays out. In Mario, it's a side scroller. You can compare it to other side scrollers, which already makes it a little bit harder. Okay. Mario has already also had a lot of other games released. And I feel like people, like the critics, will look at it like another Mario game. They'll just be like, okay, it's just Mario. Like I said, that's just my view on it. In my opinion, I think it should easily, like what Yuki said, match Spider-Man. Like, this is so different from the other Mario games that's been made.
Yeah.
And it's just, there's no reason why it shouldn't be able to match, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like you said, people are people are driving down to the store to play this 10-minute demo, bro, just to try it out. I'm like, myself included, I would probably be one of those people if I had a car to drive around and go to the Target. Like,
yeah,
dude, I'm one of those dorks. Okay. I'm like, If I'm given a number, I think, yeah, like what Yuki said, it would probably reach a 91, maybe higher. But sadly for the critics, I don't think it'll get higher. That's just me.
The critic part of it is the hard part because, like I said, there seems to always be one person who's like, nah.
Yeah, I'm like, it should, in my opinion, it should get a 91.
Yeah.
But realistically, I think it probably won't get higher than that. I don't think it'll get higher than Spider-Man.
I'm going to be honest. I think it's going to come in at a 95. I'm giving it a 95. I'm shooting for the moon here. I'm going for it. I think this is going to be one of the best 2D side-scrolling Super Mario Brothers that has ever been made. Which kind of brings me to my next two questions. One, it seems when it comes to Game of the Year stuff, it's always like the big 3D games. Can Super Mario Wonder, if it comes in at like 91 or above, like we're thinking, should it be a Game of the Year contender? When you think about the other games that came out this year, when you think about your like games that were really popular, like your Baldur's Gate 3 and your Spider-Man 2 and your Tears of the Kingdom and maybe Diablo 4. What else? I don't know. I can't think of what else. Resident Evil 4 remake, Hogwarts Legacy. Like, there's been a lot of good games this year. Mm-hmm. Can you throw Wonder in there if it comes in at that high of a review score with all this hype around it?
I think it does, but guaranteed it wins in its genre. It's gonna win best platformer. I mean, let's be honest.
Oh yeah, I think it wins best.
It's definitely gonna be. Yeah, it's gonna be best platformer of the year.
Yeah,
but putting it next to all those other ones, I don't see why it wouldn't. But I don't. Yeah, I guess it'd be a different conversation of how the people feel.
Yeah,
but I don't see why it wouldn't be up there with them. I think it definitely can stand toe to toe. Absolutely.
I kind of agree, but from the games that I've seen inside of the Game of the Year awards, I'm scared to say that it might not. I'm like, I think it's definitely possible that it won't get up there, but I would be very disappointed if it didn't.
Right.
Yeah, I think based on like the history of the Game of the Year awards, I think it probably doesn't, because I think there's too many games to pick from this year. But what I do think is that it wins best platformer, and I think that it wins best family game. I think there's like a best family game category, something like that.
Yeah.
And since this has the local 4-player co-op, couch co-op, and it's Mario, I could see it winning that for sure.
Maybe even soundtrack, depending.
It might, because the soundtrack in the trailer is.
Mm-hmm.
I told you earlier, it evokes that sense of wonder.
It does.
Wow.
And Mario has a lot of sound effects too, and there are like the category is sound design, right? Is it soundtrack or is it sound design? So I could see it being a contender in both of those. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. I hadn't thought about it. So my last question for tonight then is, in your opinion, what is the best 2D Mario game of all time? And can Super Mario Wonder beat whatever that is? Be better than that? Falcon, what do you got?
Dude, you sent this question in, and I already knew my answer. Like, the game popped in my head instantly when you said it. Okay, honestly, my favorite 2D Mario game has to be Super Mario Wii. Like, that one, it's just...
New Super Mario Brothers Wii.
I'm probably a little bit biased because that was the game that's a childhood game, a childhood favorite that I played with my brothers. We would play versus mode and we would play together mode. Okay.
Yeah.
And like we would still fight each other in both the modes. So, anyways, point is that it holds a special place to my heart. The game is amazingly fun. Okay, but do I think Wonder can beat it? Easily.
Okay. All right.
My expectations for Wonder are pretty high.
Yes. Okay, well, you know what? New Super Mario Brothers Wii comes in at an 87. So I think you're right. I think it can beat that one. And I agree with your analysis of it. I loved that game. It was incredible. It was an incredible game. In fact, I'm married. Most people have like a bachelor party when they get married. And most people go out for their bachelor party. Yeah. I stayed home and played New Super Mario Brothers Wii that was what we did for my bachelor party. It was so much fun.
Dude, honestly, I didn't even think about that. I'm like, when I might get married, maybe Wonder will be the game that I play at my bachelor party.
Maybe so.
You guys are my people. You know what I did? Mine. I got my boys together and my in-laws, and we did Halo.
Nice
multiplayer matches, split screen. Yeah.
Dude.
Yep. As my witness, I wish my in-law was here. He actually he stomped me. I was like, dude, you didn't even play video games.
Yeah.
Like,
Dude,
stomped me in Halo. It was crazy.
I'm surrounded by fellow dorks.
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
Yugi, what about you?
I was gonna say, I don't remember the title offhand because I actually didn't play it. However, I can attest to how it captured my heart. And I don't know the exact name of it. I want to make sure I got it right, but I think it was in the, let me look this up real quick. I think it was on the GameCube. But okay, yep, that's right. Yeah, so they just made a remake of it. So I was going to say, I'm glad that they're doing this now, but the only game that like blew me away the way that Mario Wonder did was Paper Mario on the GameCube. Now they're remaking it, Thousand Year Door.
Yeah.
I remember playing the demo at like a GameStop and then watching a friend play it. Never got the chance to do it, so happy to report that I'm gonna actually get the Switch and play Wonder and play Thousand Year Door. But that was the last time. Yeah, so much spending I'm doing. It sucks.
Good luck.
Yeah, literally. So I would say that I don't know what was the score of Thousand Year Door back on the GameCube, but that was the last time. That was the game that I would say, like, if you asked me, like, what would be the best 2D Mario game in terms of like creativity and what they were going for, it would have to easily be, Paper Mario. But
okay,
this could this beat it? I think it could stand next to it. I don't know if it'll beat it because it's something about Paper Mario and its creativity that is like it's something special. So I don't know if that's like a point of contention for some people.
I can,
you know what I mean?
With you on that.
Yeah. Like
I played one Paper Mario game, and I don't remember what it was. I remember it was for the Wii. It was one of those games.
It was Super Paper Mario. So that's what that one was. It was really good.
Yeah, I loved it. And like personally, I feel like the game is so wacky, and like it almost matches Mario Wonder.
Right.
Wackiness. So I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like I almost feel like they are their own things. But if like to answer Bo's question, yeah, like that would definitely be the one that I would say would probably be the best, because again, like it stood out to me, it captured my heart. I never had the chance to play it until finally now that they're remaking it. But yeah, that's what I would say. And then everyone that I talk to who's played it are like cultists for that game. So I don't know if I don't think I'm speaking out of turn when I say it might. Yeah, literally, it might be one of the best 2D Mario games.
Well, it's considered one of the best RPGs of all time. Even it's an 87 on Metacritic. That one is. Okay. So again, yeah, I think that this might be able to score. It has a good chance of scoring higher than that.
Yeah, I think so too.
Good deal. Mine is Super Mario Brothers 3 on the original NES, and that was my favorite game as a kid. But I've also replayed it as an adult a few times, and I have a deeper appreciation for it as an adult than I did even as a kid. Because when I was a kid, like sometimes I would go from World 1, and you can get 2 whistles in World 1. You can go all the way to World 8 from World 1, and you can just beat Bowser if you can not die and get game over, which is really hard. World 8's really hard. But as an adult, I'm like, nah, I got to play through all this thing. Because sometimes I'd go from World 1 to World 8. Sometimes I'd play through World 1, 2, and 3 and go to World 8. But I don't think I ever finished World 6 or 7 as a kid. And I tried them. I remember trying them, but they were really hard. Like, it gets progressively harder every single world, which is how a game should be. And a lot of the newer Mario platformers aren't that way. Like, the first 7 worlds are kind of all pretty easy, and then usually they'll have like a bonus world or a couple of bonus worlds afterwards that get really, really hard for the people that want the extra difficulty. But Super Mario Bros. 3, what they did in that game on the NES hardware is nothing short of spectacular. They pushed that system in the most creative ways and stretched it to its limits, like in every direction that they could think of to stretch it. And the level design in that game is so good that playing as an adult years and years later after playing as a kid, like they won my affection all over again, because I could see it from a grown-up perspective, and how they designed these levels and how they came up with all these good ideas of how to use power-ups and it's just incredible. And so that's my favorite one. It might always be simply because of the nostalgia factor of it. And I was looking for the Metacritic score, and I don't think there is one because it's probably just too old. There is one for Super Mario Advance for Super Mario Brothers 3, which is Super Mario Brothers 3, but on the Game Boy Advance, which is a ridiculous title. I don't know why they keep doing these ridiculous titles like New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe. Like that's a crazy title.
It's just fun.
It's just fun.
Just add names, bro. They
obviously didn't have hashtags back then.
Dude, it's
Hashtag Super Mario Advance for Super Mario 3.
Dude, it's like how Nintendo. Not Nintendo. It's like how iPhone just keeps adding cameras to their phone, bro. It's like,
yeah,
names are fun.
So on the Game Boy Advance, it comes in at a 94. That's pretty high.
Whoa.
I don't know if. I said a 95 for Wonder earlier, and I'm going to stick to that. So I'm going to say it can beat it. Will it become my new favorite? That I don't know. So that's my pick for that.
So you said Super Mario 3, and I'm not going to lie. That game is second inside of my list of Mario games. Despite me talking about Paper Mario, sorry, Yugi, but that one's actually pretty amazing too. Because I remember being younger and watching my brothers play that game. They played it. I think they played it on an emulator that they got on the Wii, because my brother, my oldest brother, he knew how to hack too. Okay. Now we have two hackers in here. Anyways, he hacked our Wii, got an emulator, and played the game on the Wii. And
yeah, that's actually when I played it for the first time as an adult, was on the Wii, because they added it to the Wii eShop.
Oh, let's go.
And I bought it for $5 or whatever, and I played it as an adult. But recently I've been playing it on this little guy right here.
Ooh, dang.
And it's very, very good still. It's very good. All right, I guess we're gonna wrap it up then.
You sound so sad.
I am sad. All right, well, that's been episode 4 of Bono's Gamers. I appreciate you guys being here. Yugi, where can we find you, buddy?
You can find me at Yugi601, as always, streaming Wednesday through Friday, or you can catch me on Twitter or X with the same X with the same name, running my yap. Follow me on there.
That's such a terrible name. Why did they change it?
I don't know. But if you want to stay up to date with me or catch up to me or reach out to me directly, you can talk to me on there.
Cool.
That's it.
Falcon, where can we find you, bud?
You guys can find me here on the platform as Falcon Tactics. You guys can also find me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm not on TikTok like all the other people, okay? Don't look for me there. I'm more active on Instagram, so if you guys message me there, I'll probably respond instantly.
Okay, cool. I'll do that.
I think I followed you. Anyways, I stream on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Normally Fall Guys, but I've recently started playing Roblox and Rocket League, and I'll definitely be playing Wonder too. So if you guys want to go watch Wonder.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for being here. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and go check these guys out on YouTube. And stay kind and encouraging out there. We'll catch you on the flippity flip.